Hey there, StarCraft fans! It's Falcon Paladin coming at ya with yet another edition of StarCraft Brood War Remastered! Today it's going to be a Patreon match between Terror and Kaze here on Matchpoint. Bottom left-hand corner, it is the green Zerg player Terror, playing under one of his Smurf names, Chobo. And on the top side of the map, on the right side, we have the red Terran player, it is Kaze, playing under his Smurf name, VKTMXK, which has 0 vowels in it and therefore is unpronounceable. Alright, so ZVT here from Terror. We've seen him play, let's see, ZVP. We've seen him play PVZ, I think. Let's see, when he played Protoss. Yeah, PVZ. And now we're going to see him play ZVT. This guy is a master of all matchups, and Lazaros sent me a replay pack filled with Terror replays. And I think he's becoming one of my favorite players in all of Brood War. Overlord scouting here. No big deal. No proxies from either of these players. Is proxy hatching a thing in Brood War? I don't think I've seen one, but maybe it is. I like proxy hatches in StarCraft 2, and I like them in Brood War as well, but I think the problem is that I just cast long macro games, and a proxy hash does not lead to those. So, I don't know, maybe it's time for another cheese compilation for Brood War. If you're interested in that, let me know in the comments here, because, I don't know, I do things based on what people want, right? Right. Alright, so it's just going to be a 12 hatch here from Terror. And an SCV scout here from the Terran player. There is going to be some problems in my brain figuring out Terran versus Terror here. They are just too darn similar. Barracks on the way, no command center first, although it would be safe. So one of the things about TVZ is that if your opponent goes for a hatch first play, you can go for a CC first play and be safe from incoming invasion by Zerglings because the pool is so darn late. But you don't know. I mean, if it is in fact an earlier pool and a pool first play, then you're dead. But if you're, gambling like that is super hard to do, is what I'm trying to say. More supply depots coming up. No sign of an extractor yet, which indicates to me we're not going to send any speedlings across the map anytime soon. The gas timing should really help Kaze understand what's going on here. So yeah, both players are pretty much just ratcheting up for a pretty macro-style opening. This drone might want to try to block. Yeah, actually he's going to try to block, but a Marine is out. And that's why maybe sometimes you make a Marine before you throw down your CC on the low ground. Overlord comes in to verify that there is in fact a CC coming up, because a one-basing Terran is extremely dangerous, and you want to be ready for some kind of a one-base attack. Overlord is here to make sure CC is actually in production, which indicates that we're going to be a while before we see any kind of an attack coming in. Also, no gas. Just no gas at all here from Terror. Loving this early stuff. He's got some Lings just to deal with this SCV for the most part, and I guess if a couple of Marines showed up unexpectedly, which I mean, there's really no reason that a couple of Marines would show up out of nowhere at this point in the game. So just droning up really as well as you can. Obviously, again, the problem for Zerg is that they have to use their drones to make buildings like extractors as the first gas is on the way, and extra hatcheries, and more hatcheries and spawning pools and stuff. So it hurts your drone count to do those things, but you need to do them to live. So we will see the drone count lagging behind the Terran player, who doesn't have to replace his SCVs that are dying because they're not dying. They just build stuff and get right back to work. It's very nice. Yeah, I like the macro hatch, though. I've been inspired by this. I've started to implement some macro hatch stuff into my own play and really noticed a big improvement with the amount of larva available to do things. It's a very obvious thing, but man, when there's a lot of stuff going on, it's sometimes hard to remember specific things that you want to do that are kind of outside of the normal routine. You know what I mean? Anyway, CC up, a lot of Marines in production here, and a second barracks. So we're going to see at least a bio-style opening. You can go right into mech if you want. If you're in a TVZ, just go for a ton of vultures, a ton of tanks right off the bat. But a lot of Terran players like to go for the Marine medic style stuff just because it does better against the Mutalisks if you have a lot of Marines to augment your missile turrets. If you're making an engineering bay, which that second gas, I think it might work out. If he saves his gas now, he might have enough for a handful of Mutalisks. The second gas tells me it's probably going to be Mutas. I don't imagine this is just enough gas for a couple Scourge. Potentially, that's really more of a ZVP play anyway. Is that a factory? No, it's an engineering base. So, yeah, we're definitely going to see some bio here from the Terran player over the course of, a little bit of time. at least for the next 5 minutes, I would say, we're going to see the bio play. Lair finishing up. There are enough resources for a Spire right now. Let's see if we get one. Oh, he doesn't even return the mineral. Spire instantly at 5 minutes. So, yeah. SCV coming in for the Scout. That is just a brilliant SCV. Scout the Spire. Juke. Oh, he got through. He juked right on through like a running back. Oh, and he saw the Spire. That's such a great SCV Scout timing from Kaze. He loses the SCV, but it's totally fine. So that tells him, all right, so the Spire is at that much. Once it's done is when I need to start making missile turrets. Until that point, let's not worry about it. We have the engineering bay. We're working on the upgrades. We're making more barracks. And so far, Kaze is doing everything that he needs to do to win this game. Yeah, I mean, the amount of gas we have here and the fact that he's throwing up Sunkens tells me that he's not going to be using Lurkers to defend. It's going to be Mulisks and Zerglings and these Sunkens at the front door. I mean, third base potentially on the way here. That's a good number of Lings. The Fire Bat is what kind of turns the tide there. I feel like without the Fire Bat, the Lings jumping on those Marines might be able to do some work. But additional Marines are showing up, and these guys are just, nah, they don't want to engage. Terror's way too smart for that. Terror is a really good Zerg player. Really good player overall. And just throwing away units unnecessarily in a situation where you're not going to win it is just ill-advised. 8 Mutalisks in production. First factory on the way from Kaze. And we are just pumping Marines, man. We are pumping those Marines. The Lings are kind of trying to delay this attack. Although I really feel like Kaze might just want to stay home. See, there we go. Timing. Timing on these turrets is basically when the Spire finishes. It's kind of a game-sensey thing. And you can see when the Spire is coming up. Then that helps a lot. And a Hydralisk Den coming in too, probably. Lurkers, top left base has been taken by Terror. No big deal for that one. And yeah, 60 to 66 supply. The Zerg player's down here at the 7-minute mark, but that's to be expected. Gonna try to do this Ling Muta stuff here against Kaze, and let's see what he can accomplish. We have +1 attack yet? We don't. But we do have the medics. We do have the stim. We do have the turrets to fall back to if things get too hairy. This Marine ball hanging out. Yeah, I mean, two turrets is really enough to make this number of Mutalisks unhappy with sticking around for too long. They will try to deny the starport for as long as possible because, again, the bane of every Zerg player's existence is irradiate from those science vessels. That's why Kaze is going there, and that's why Terror is kind of trying to shut it down for as long as he can. Yeah, I don't know about this. This is pretty well defended out of Kaze. I like what we're seeing from the Terran player a lot. Starport, like I said, coming in. Additional lot of barracks, though. This feels to me like we're not going to see a transition into mech today. Looks like it's going to be possibly Marine tank. Possibly just, you know, Marine science vessel. We've seen Flash do that in the past against his Zerg opponents. It's just go nothing but Marines, medics, and science vessels. Kind of works out where you have a ton of available gas for science vessels if all you're generally making are Marines, as it turns out. The problem is, with that particular strategy, Ultralisks are pretty good. And we've seen Terra be pretty good with Ultras. So the Mutaling stuff, trying to just whittle down this Marine ball count, but now that they have +1 attack, it's going to be harder to do. The Mutas have no upgrades. The Lings I'm going to go with have no upgrades. They do not, other than speed. Yeah, Queen's Nest on the way, though. Loving that stuff. And what are the upgrades? Okay, so Carapace is on the way, which doesn't really tell us much. Getting Carapace kind of leaves you open to whatever you want to do. And it benefits, you know, your Lurkers and your Hydras and your Lings, which is really nice. And your Ultralisks, if you decide to go for them. So getting Carapace is a good upgrade to have. Mutas are trying to pick off... There you go. Smaller groups of... Oh, get that Fire Bat. Thought about getting the Fire Bat. Nope, didn't target down the Fire Bat there. A couple more Marines died. Yeah, I guess that's fair. The Marines are more of a problem here. There's only one Fire Bat, and there aren't really that many Zerglings anyway. But I love this 9-minute high that's coming in from the Zerg player. Science Vessels in production already from Kaze. Here at 9 minutes 2, and these guys are absolutely sprinting towards a situation where it's going to be super macro style, 4 bases to 5 bases, 6 bases possibly on this map. Match point is pretty good for that, as it turns out. Now, this is pretty hard to hold if you're a Zerg player, just because tanks can set up over here and ruin your day. You can set up on this high ramp, ruin your day. I'm really surprised we're not seeing tanks, based on the fact that that's what this map generally is. That said, I remember casting a game between Idra and a Zerg opponent, my child, I believe it was, on this map. And yeah, the Terran opponent just went for all of the bio all of the time. And it was a heck of a game. It was a beautiful game. I'm not going to spoil who won that thing. But if you want to watch it, just search Idra games on my channel and find the Idra versus my child match. And you're going to say, I don't know who my child is. Why do I care? It was a great match. I promise. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Science Vessel. How many mutas do you want to sacrifice? Well, at least 1 or 2, 3, 4 mutalisks for that Science Vessel. It's important stuff, though. I probably would have made the same choice. Got Scourge to deal with the Science Vessels. Tier 3 stuff is what exactly? What are we doing here? That's a macro hatch. There's an army coming up, but there are lurkers at the top of the ramp. They're not burrowed yet. They probably, like, now, though. The Marines are trying to stem up. Oh, gosh! Okay! He tried his best, and he didn't succeed. I would not have made that choice. There's lurkers, but they're unburrowed. Maybe I can run up there before they burrow. No. No, you can't. Everybody dies. Again, this ramp is impossible to take with just bio. This is why we see tanks. Because lurkers are really, really good. But again, we've seen Flash win without them in elite level TVZs. And I mean, this is so many Marines. They've got the +1 attack. They're working on the +1 armor and the +2 attack. Irradiate's almost done, and that's where this really starts to turn the tide in favor of the Terran player a little bit. You can start irradiating these lurkers in the ground, killing them instantly. Well, not instantly, but killing them nevertheless. I like this base from Terror here. So here comes a big attack. Do we have Consume? We don't have Consume yet, but Defilers are on the way. So you irradiate the lurkers, and one lurker, surprisingly, not as bad. Not as bad to deal with if you're trying to take a ramp, if you're a Terran player. Is there any sign of a third base from Kaze? Oh yeah, there's a third CC here coming on down to be minerals. Again, when you go in this strategy, minerals are going to be an okay thing here. Nice split. One of the lurkers dies, the other lurker dies. I don't know, man. Have you taken too many casualties? Would be my question here. Probably. There's like 10 lurkers coming in to replace the 2 that you killed there and sacrifice several of your men's lives for. Yeah, man, he lifted off that factory. This is absolutely Bioscience Vessel style, which is something we've seen, from time to time. How are the upgrades doing? Okay, melee, which indicates we're probably going to go for Ultralisks. It would make sense. Plague is being resurged, trying to get lurkers on in. And once again, that Dark Swarm, once it's up, you run. You irradiate the ever-loving heck out of Defilers as soon as you see them. Second priorities are those lurkers. Ooh, splitting an attack here. Southern section, northern section of the map. Trying to maybe go for some kind of an attack here, but that's not enough dudes. And there's really nothing down here to kill either. So maybe he's just checking to make sure there aren't any bases the Zerg player has taken out of control here. 124 to 141 supply. It is really easy to have more supply than the Zerg player when you're going for this particular strategy. Once again, Dark Swarm comes up, and if you don't have tanks, you just run. Even if you have tanks, you try to run when the lurkers just pile right on top of you, especially with Dark Swarm support. Nice job with the Scourge, keeping them away. Keeping them away. These guys, I mean, they're just preparing for something. I don't know what it is. Middle of the map here, just... It's the battleground right now, is what it is. And that's good for the Zerg player. He would absolutely rather be fighting on the middle ground here than fighting at one of his bases. Because if you're fighting at one of your bases as a Zerg player, you're doing it wrong. Where are these overlords going? They're not drop lords. They might be, but they don't have anything in them. Very strange. All right, sandwich attempt. Trying to get in here. Science Vessel's getting some hits. Lings and Hydras jumping in. He takes an escape angle. And nice hit on the Scourge. Nice target fire on the Scourge, though. One hits. None of the Science Vessels go down. And beautiful, beautiful hold, about as well as could be expected there from Kaze. Oh, no. Nice flank attack. That was so good with the Scourge. The remaining mutas are here to try to deal with these Marines. They don't have any upgrades, but you know what? Some Zergling support, you can totally do it. Totally do it. All right, Terror. I believe you can fly. I believe you can touch the sky. I think about it every night and day. Drop ships down to the south here. And yeah, 4-3 bases effectively. 140 to 126. That was a win for Terror, but it's not even nearly close enough to win the total game. Replacing his science vessels. This is... Okay, so this is actually drops. What the heck was that other stuff? I don't know. Engagement in the middle of the map. Trying to do some stuff. Some people die, but eh. The drop ships. Okay, one of the drop ships dies. The other one is totally fine. We're going to unload in the main base. Put lurkers on top of your production facilities and see how you like it. Sniping down the Defiler Mound would be a massive victory, as well as the Hydralisk Den. Major tech structure pickoffs here from Kaze. Just kidding. Did not get the Hydralisk Den. Too many lings. And everybody dead. Lurkers killing some SCVs here. Only 45 remaining for Kaze. And the Zerglings get cleaned out after killing some stuff, but really not much damage done on that drop. This drop is still alive. What? 2-1 Marines, huh? Man, I'm not kidding. Choose a target here. You're not going to end up killing any of these things if you don't choose a target. That healing's pretty good. Okay, so the Hydralisk Den does go down. This hurts. If you want to make more lurkers, you got to replace that Hydralisk Den first. Queen's Nest sniped. Macro Hatch probably could be killed if you took the time to focus on it for about half a second. Meanwhile, Ling's getting into Kaze's third base to cause some problems. We got attacks in the middle, all over the place. Random group of Marines running away, leaving their medics behind because the medics don't have stim. And finally, some Lings come in to clean this attack up. That hatchery survived with 90 HP, which is not a lot. So at that point, Terror has taken the lead. 125 to 117 total supply. The third base by Kaze is not super happy. He's trying to take a fourth. And he should be able to do it here. We're 16 minutes in, and things are getting crazy. Free science vessel, though. Why is there a science vessel out here? That is very strange indeed. Wow, that was a shellacking of a victory there from Kaze. Still, 127 to 125 supply. It's about even, which means Kaze has been doing some good work here. Again, trying to hold the middle, but guess what's on the way? Ultralisks. Chitinous plating is finishing up. More Defilers in production. He replaces Defiler Mount here at the natural base. Very smartly done. I'm not sure if he's going to bother with the Hydralisk Den, to be honest with you. Yeah, it might just be Lings and Ultras and Scourge from this point on. Not a bad strategy when your opponent's going mass bio. Those Ultras are going to hold up pretty well, especially if they have Dark Swarm support. And especially if you're killing those Science Vessels, not allowing the Ultras to get irradiated all that much, which I'm not sure we're going to see here necessarily. Are you taking this base? Dang, Terror's taking the 12 o'clock base, which I believe is technically Kaze's. That's a gutsy move there. All right, is he going to try to engage? No, that's a ton. Ooh, the spines, though. Okay, well, the Ultralisks are chasing in. The Irradiates, there we go. 1, 2, and 3 on the Ultralisks. It doesn't kill them, but it hurts them a lot. Now the Scourge come in a little bit late. The Science Vessels are running for their little intelligent lives. What? Okay, that could have been worse. I think 2 of them went down. There are still several remaining, which is excellent. That Ultralisk Cavern, or Ultra rather, is still going to do some work here on his own Zergling friends that are keeping real close by to him. Everybody here is super injured as a result. Lurker just happily kind of stabbing away for the time being. The northern base is being protected by a single Lurker with 16 kills. He is a veteran of this war for sure. Or this battle, or whatever you want to call it. 49 to 52 workers in favor of the Zerg player. Decent play, catching all but one of the Science Vessels. Plague-oo! The northern base for Terror does stay alive thanks to the presence of an Ultralisk with 5 armor. The Marines do have +3 attack, but it doesn't really matter. And that is because, as we know, Marines do fast attacks. A lot, frequently, and every one of those attacks is subject to the armor on the Ultralisk. That's why. Big things, though, that do big hits, big swings, like tanks, they actually, every one of their attacks is negated by the armor 1 time. So if the armor is 6, but the attack is 70 damage, doesn't matter as much. And if the armor is 6 and the attack is 5, suddenly you're in trouble. Actually, what are we at? 9. 9, we're in trouble. Nice drop up top, though. Loving this dropship stuff, especially with all the Scourge around. It's very gutsy for Kaze to go for this drop at the 12 o'clock position. Ling Ultra trying to just jump right on top of this army. And yeah, man, Zerglings with adrenal glands. And 2-2 gonna do all right for themselves. This Ultralisk Dark Swarm a bit late to the party, which is fine. Meanwhile, big ol' drop inside the main base. Trying to accomplish some things here, and a drop coming in the top left-hand base for Terror 2. All right, so this is problematic. Terror just lost the 12 o'clock position, but the main base of Kaze is under a lot of trouble. That said, the Dark Swarms are not that good, and eventually this Ultralisk will get taken out. And the top left-hand base is getting focused down a little bit here. The Marines are doing what they can against these Ultras. They kill one of them, but the Zerglings and the Ultras combined are just a potent combination. And this Ultralisk ends up with a whole lot of kills. This Ultralisk does end up dead with 11 kills, though. Zerglings running on down. Kaze has an army fairly ready to respond to it. The medics are trying to heal as well as they can, but man, Adrenal Gland Lings are so fast on the hits. And the hits so dang hard. But kept the bottom right-hand base alive. 52 to 53 workers. This game is pretty good, as the third base is under attack by a bajillion Ultras. SCV transfer at possibly the wrong time. Possibly the worst time of all time. And now defending the bottom right-hand base becomes imperative for Kaze. Irradiates! Catch this one. Okay, that one's dead. Fair enough. 3 science vessels remain. Bottom right-hand base is alive. But the third base is in trouble. Although the Irradiate is actually going to help these Ultralisks kill each other. If they all clump up like this... Oh, man. Did they do enough damage to each other that... Oh, 5 HP on that Ultra. And they both end up dead. Very nicely done. Not great control from Terror. Ultralisks that are right next to each other and they're both irradiated will take more damage from each other's irradiates in addition to the stuff they're taking originally. So that's a problem. I mean, one irradiate is not enough to kill an Ultra, but if you have another irradiate on the outside doing some splash damage to you, it will be enough to take you down. Aye, laddie. Alright, so it's 109 to 128 supply. Kaze is doing okay. This flash style, I mean, the good news about the flash style is you can take a ton of hits and still keep trucking because your units are really cheap. Good irradiates coming up here. The Zerglings are a bit of a problem, but again, the Ultralisk hurting his own little Zergling buddies. Oh, what a beautiful plague. Ooh, though. Oh, that was fantastic on the plague. These poor medics don't know what hit them. Long distance mining actually happening from the 12 o'clock for Terror right now. He has not expanded for a while. He lost that 12 o'clock. He hasn't even tried to take the 6 o'clock whatsoever. It's the one place that hasn't been expanded to. See, on match point, I guess, how does it compare on a base count compared to other maps? I don't know. It's a great question. I guess considering it's a 2-player map, it probably doesn't have as many bases as your average 4-player map does it? Just common sense is what it is. All right, 135 to 117 supply. The Terran player has the lead. He hasn't gotten +3 armor for his Marines yet, which I feel like is an oversight. You should probably have that upgrade by now. A bunch of Lings just running into the meat grinder there. Does he have a... He does have an engineering bay free to do that. I love that he's just pumping science vessels, though. That's how you do. Late game, TVZ, science vessels are the key. Oh, that's a rhyme you can do. You can tell yourself when you're playing. Drop heading somewhere. Defensive Dark Swarm at the 12 o'clock. Is that another plague? That's another plague. Kind of harder to tell on these guys because they're, you know, wearing red. And the Strawberry Jam is very red itself, but okay, attacking up to the top left-hand base. If Kaze can get this, it'll be a very, very nice win for him. He's backed himself into a corner, though, and the Ling Ultra should be able to handle this. Yeah, it's too much. It is too much. Still no +3 attack here from the Zerg player. But it is on the way. He's got his started, whereas the armor for these ground units, not so good. Boy, a lot of these guys are severely injured. That last plague was disgusting. It really was life-changing. The Lings know it. They know these guys are injured. Normally, they'd never go after this group. But they know they just kind of... Oh my gosh, another plague. Just draining all the energy off these medics might be worth it enough here. Oh, they're even holding still. Yeah, that medic's out of energy. This medic is down under 100 energy and dropping very quickly because they're trying to heal up never-ending damage. It's not never-ending, but it's consistent and continuous damage until it wears off. And your medic's energy will be in a terrible, terrible position. Ling Ultra, man. Ling Ultra Scourge Defiler. The order of the day right now from Terror. I don't think we've seen one of these games in a while for the ZVT front where it's just Marines, Science Vessels, and Medics. Okay, decent hits on the Scourge there. The Irradiate helping immensely with that Ultralisk up north. It's still so even. I mean, oh, it's battle cruisers in production. What? Not every day we get to see BCs in a TVZ, that's for sure. Is that an attempted... It might have been an attempted drop. It's absolutely shut down going into the main base of the Zerg player. Third base is in trouble for Kaze. But his bottom right-hand base is fine. That's where his gas is coming from. The 12 o'clock is more saturated and more defended for Terror after losing it that one time. Oh, there was an attempted... What? These Marines kill that? These guys have 3 and 4 kills each. I'm not sure that Terror knows there's Marines there. He might just be absent-mindedly sending drones to expand to that position, and then they get wrecked, and he just does it again, which I don't think is very good for the long-term success for him in this game. All right, so it looks like the Terran player is doing okay, but it's 139 to 113 supply. We've got a lot of Zerglings coming on down. They almost have the +3 attack. Upgrades take forever to happen here. He does not have the Carapace. He still doesn't have the Carapace level 3, which he actually can't afford. He doesn't have a massive bank, at least not of gas, compared to the Terran player, who again isn't making tanks, so his gas isn't being spent all that much. He's got 2,200 gas sitting here in the bank. That doesn't help you, though, at all. All right, so let's go for the Dark Swarm and then send the Lings in all in one fell swoop here. Very nice. It's a very nice play here. Oh, the SCVs know they have to get out. Once the Dark Swarm arrives and the Zerglings, it is a hard deal. Ooh, Lings running into the meat grinder there. Scourge catching a couple of the... Oh, all of the Science Vessels in the general vicinity. Zerglings coming in 1 or 2 or 3 at a time. Not what you want to be doing here, and we're back down to 129 to 124. This game is absolutely nonstop. This game is absolutely very, very close. And this game absolutely might earn itself an epic tag, if just solely for the fact that we have battle cruisers in a response to this Ultraling style. That said, I thought we saw a couple being produced. Did he cancel? Oh, he might have canceled. He's been flirting with the idea. He has. I don't think he's actually completed. Oh, never mind. They're right here. There are 2 of them in the middle of the map. They got plagued, which is unfortunate, because Scourge can find them and just destroy them. But I mean, hey, killing Zerglings is never bad. If they could attack when firing, it'd be so good. This one, Ultralisk. Again, good against Marines, but not when you're in a like 8-to-1 scenario. Oh gosh, no! No, my battle cruisers! Okay. Well, the battle cruisers, this is a big attack. BCs are dead. Oh my gosh, that plague a second before the Defiler dies. That was filthy. It was a filthy, filthy plague. Some great playing here from Terror. Both players have taken their lumps, taken their hits. It really doesn't seem to be much interest in doing anything other than what we're seeing here. The battle cruisers, I would say, were probably a failure, just because they got plagued and then mutalisked to death. These are very brave Science Vessels. Well, okay, well, one of them went down, but another plague. Ooh! So many plagues today. What do I tell you? 6 o'clock base has been taken by Terror, but can he keep it would be the question. There's a Sunken and 2 Ultras here, and the Ultras are irradiated and doing damage to their own buddies, including each other and including these drones, which that drone is going to die. Like, Okay, well, turn it into a building. That's fine. I think it's time to go. Terror's not interested in defending it, though. He's just going to go straight for the 4th base and the 3rd base and maybe the natural, too. So he's totally fine with sacking the 6 o'clock. He knows it's in trouble, but he's going to try to kill the 3rd base and the 4th base of the Terran player at the same time, which is not a bad idea. I kind of like it. The SCV count's going to continue to plummet here for the Terran player. It is 23 to 60 total workers in favor of the Zerg right now. The 6 o'clock base dies, but I'm not sure these guys are getting out of here is the problem. Although, you know what? That's a pretty good choke to hold against Zerglings and Ultras. That's a really good choke to hold. So bottom right-hand base is in trouble. 3rd base is dead for Kaze. I don't know if he can come back from this. He's down in worker count. He's down in overall army supply. I think Terror may have won this game. I'm looking at it. I just don't see a way that Kaze comes back. Sure, there's really only one mining base left here for Terror, but there's nothing left for Kaze. He has that bank we were talking about. These SCVs are full. Why are they even down here? I guess they are running to where the army was. Okay, Ling's running into their own deaths there. Do you have a fire bat in the mix? Get out of the dark swarm. Another plague, though! Oh my gosh, another plague. I don't even... What are we doing here? Oh, okay, that's your GG. Everybody down here dies. Every one of these medics are going to get destroyed too. The income is 0 for Kaze. He's fighting his very best here. He's got 350 APM. Southern base being retaken by Terror. There's a bit of an army here, though, but he's down to 14 SCVs. 14 SCVs! Could this be a game where the Terran player just wins because he has a bigger army, even though his economy's in the toilet? Maybe. A couple Scourge going down. All right, these are minor victories. Also, the fact he doesn't have +3 attack, I think, has been causing him problems all day. I guess same reason, nice plague. That the ground units don't have +3 Carapace for Terror either, though, yay? Bottom right-hand base reestablished. Defiler gets irradiated and killed. I mean, you don't have a ton of minerals, so I'm not sure how viable this is, but repairing these science vessels might be a really, really good thing. I know you just want to defend. Kaze decides no. Defending is for chumps. Defending is for the weak. Let's go kill that 6 o'clock and maybe we can win this game. Defensive Matrix is up. It's serious business now. A couple Scourge going down. Nice control by Kaze. Not so great by Terror. Defensive Matrix Marine Plague down. Exploding science vessels all over the place. The plagues have been so good by Terror today. I don't know that I've seen more plagues in one game ever in my casting career. It has been nonstop insanity. Meanwhile, Lings just roll on into the bottom right-hand base. This is not going to work. This is absolutely not going to work for Kaze to continually lose SCVs down in this bottom right-hand base because he's not defending it. The problem is there's this back door you have to worry about and the front door you have to worry about. If Kaze wins this game, I will be beyond astounded. I mean, this little drop up north is pretty cute. It's accomplishing some things. Some drones are dying. It's still 57 drones. And none of them are mining from the 12 o'clock base, but the 6 o'clock is happily mining now. I don't know. If Phase or... if he can get down here... Okay, he knows he has to move out. Oh gosh, but the science vessels... Yeah. Okay, we're down to 2 science vessels, 12 SCVs, and a dream, ladies and gentlemen. And a dream. You can't pull back here. You can't do it. Yeah, the Dark Swarm, combined with the Lings, really enough to shut that down up to 12 o'clock. Kaze, nice plague on the science vessels again. Terror is a plague master, you guys. Master of plagues. Alright, Kaze, I think you're out. I think you're out. I like what you're doing, but you don't have the science vessel count to make this happen. You don't have the +3 attack to make this happen. Oh my gosh, these plagues are so good. Did he just already plagued Marines? He may have done that. It doesn't stack. You know, it's cool. Go back in. Go back in. The Defiler has energy for another Dark Swarm. Oh, dropship. Oh, dropship. Okay. Well, the drop's taken care of. 118 to 53 total supply. Again, the army is not a bad size for the Terran player. He's been continually able to produce, although he is down to 91 minerals. If he can kill this 6 o'clock and maintain his bottom right-hand base, he has a chance to win this game. But I'm looking at it, and it's not looking good. He just completely abandons the attempt entirely. I mean, most of these Marines are at full health. Nice Scourge hits there. Oh my gosh. Every time I think it's going good for Kaze, he takes a plague right in the face. Just like if it was a fist fight, he just took a solid right jab right in the nose. Just crunch. And all these guys are injured. All right. Well, Lings are on top of your production now. Oh, these fire bats were your last hope and they're all dead. Okay. Well, that hurts a lot. Your production's being murdered. You don't have any gas remaining in your bank at all. Going to try to save this bottom right-hand base and might be able to do so technically, but your main is just completely gone. There's really no saving it, and when that happens as a Terran player, I don't know what you do. This has been a pretty excellent back-and-forth game, though. Both players lost a ton of stuff, but just consistently making better trades today has been Terror, and having better economy. The north and southern bases have been his, largely for the last 10 or 15 minutes. This is it. This is what is left for Kaze. He's not even bothering to deal with the Zerglings inside of his main. One last final push. The Scourge catching the science. There are so many Scourge out, too. Kaze is not giving up, you guys. Kaze has decided today is the day. The plagues! And that's your GG. GG Kaze! Kaze has left the game. Terror is your winner. What more can I say than I've already said there? The plagues were disgusting, life-changing experiences for Kaze there. Terror is your champion in 37 minutes. Wow. End of the day, 284,000 points for the Zerg player, 235 for Kaze. 1,200 Zerg units produced, only 500 produced by the Terran player. It's kind of insane he held on as long as he did with that. And then resources across the board better for Terror. So, like I said, don't know what to say other than what I've already said in the cast there. The plagues were great, the macro was good, and it was just more money and more units for the Zerg player. Great control there for the most part by Kaze, but lost too many science vessels, too many plagues at the face, and had to tap out. So that's going to be it from me. This has been Falcon Paladin coming at ya with yet another edition of StarCraft Brood War Remastered. Go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, and Twitch, all at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching, and you take care of yourself.